Hello, my name is Deepa Gautam and I'm a senior at Westford Academy. I've been with the WA Museum Club since I was a freshman and have had the opportunity to support the museum recently as a summer intern. Today I'm here with Patti Mason, who is the 2024 Wild Woman of Westford. This title celebrates Ms. Mason's contributions and long-lasting impact on the Westford community. So the first question that I have is, obviously you're known for all your contributions to Westford, but despite that you grew up in Long Beach, California, and you were involved in a lot of activities both in and outside of school. Can you tell me a little bit more about this and what, if any, memories stick out to you from?
Okay. Yes, I grew up in Long Beach, California. I was involved as a child. Campfire Girls, which is equal to Girl Scouts in the East Coast. Also very involved in church, and also with the three schools that I was involved with elementary school and middle school and high school. Mm-hmm. In middle school is where I started. In sports, we had a tennis program, and I learned how to play tennis and other activities at the middle school level. They did not have as many levels as we have today in like Westford type of thing, but we had a good time. High school, I was involved with many clubs, Future Nurses and Medical Club, Chorus, Ushers Club, which what we did is there's 4 high schools in Long Beach, and each high school would go down and usher at the Long Beach auditorium for any shows and that type of thing, and we received credit for it. So that was a lot of fun. Plus we got free tickets. So I was also involved with the Delta Gamma Omega. It was a women's club in Long Beach, which was very good. I was involved with the Scholarship Federation and the American Field Service Club and the National Honor Society and a few others, but I won't go into those.
After high school, can you tell me a little bit more about your educational background and what your goals were growing up?
I graduated from Long Beach Polytechnic in 1961. I went to Long Beach City College and became a certified medical assistant program. And I was one of the very first in the United States. They started a certification program, and I became certified in both administration and the medical part of that. So that was an honor for me. After that, I did go to UCLA and received my bachelor's degree in medical technology and also some other educational programs and that type of thing. I also in California I had small children, and life changes. I know in my life it does, depending on what's going on, and it was easier for me at that time to be involved with preschool age and that type of thing. So I became certified as a preschool instructor. And when I moved to Westford, I used that also. While I was at Rodenbush, we were honored to bring in Anna Marie program from Paxton as an outreach it was a combination of business, fire, and police, because they had all 3 of those. I started taking some classes. All of a sudden, I was meeting most of the requirements, and at that time, like they do today, they will give you life credits, and I ended up with getting my second bachelor's in business administration. It was kind of unique because when we went to graduation at Anna Maria, instead of me taking pictures of my son graduating from college, he was taking pictures of me. So it was kind of unique type of thing. So, and then I continued after that to take different business courses or seminars or that type of thing.
If you were to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be and why?
Well, I have to go back on that because I can't say it in three words, so I'll make it as short as possible. I am a people person. I have always been a people person. but it's just part of my background and who I am. My mother was the same way. My father wasn't quite as that. I think I got that from my mother, type of thing. I am a give back person in many different ways. I think it's important to give back. Things have been given to us or happened to us that we give back. It's important. My love of family and friends, that's important. And as some of you know, I have a gene that I inherited from my mother. It's the I can't say no gene. And I'm trying to work on that. So.
What was it like for your family when you guys moved to Westford?
Well, my late husband was from this area, so he actually went to Lowell Tech when it was Lowell Tech, which became UMass Lowell eventually, type of thing. His father graduated from there, so he knew the area. He was actually from Reading, but he went out to California for North American. He actually worked on the Apollo lander. He worked on that, and then we met, and I'll tell you later, on a blind date, was mutual friends.
Here in Westford, you're also very involved in Westford Academy as a parent and also as an advocate for the special education programs. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, and also what it was like for your sons going through?
One thing I forgot in the one before, it was a little scary to come here at first, because I knew I didn't know anybody. My husband had two friends that were fraternity brothers, and one is still a friend, and Tom Luminello's family, and so it made it a little easier. Plus, it was a small town, and I liked that. I didn't feel lost in a big town type of thing. And my boys, both my husband and I got my boys involved with sports and other things, involved with that, and scouting and baseball and that type of thing. In baseball, when they were first starting out, it was interesting because Jeff Hall was the coach, and he needed a third base coach, and all of a sudden I became the third base coach, and I knew about baseball, but I didn't know everything, but we got through the year type of thing. So and the boys were also involved with scouts and sports, and as they got older, they got very involved with the Cirrus program at Westford Academy, and also the outdoor club and that type of thing. And when my husband passed away, that was a big part of their lives and was good for them and that type of thing. About the Westford Academy Special Ed, I was advocate for many of the education programs, PTOs, Westford Academy School Council. I was on one of the first councils when they started it a number of years ago when it began, and I helped start the Parent Special Needs Program, which was actually is still going today under a different name. I think it's PAC or something like that. One of my children did have some special needs, and I thought it was important that the parents got together and they could help each other. So that's why it got started. That's it on that, unless you had other questions.
I just have a side question. Do you think it helped you feel more welcome in the community to be involved, like in all of these programs and with your kids?
When I first started out, one of the first things I needed to do, my son Fred, he was 7, so he was involved in the school, so he had friends and that type of thing. But my youngest child was 3.5, and so I needed to find some outlets for him. And that's when we added right down the street. I live in the old Homestead housing area behind St. Mark's. St. Mark's had a preschool, and so I enrolled him because it was easy. It was right up the street. Enrolled him there, made all kinds of friends, and they found out that I was a preschool teacher, and I substituted for the first year, and then after that I worked for them for 2 years as a preschool teacher.
Here in Westford, you've also been involved in a multitude of projects related to giving back to the community, including with the Rodenbush, the Cameron Senior Center, the Westford Rotary, and countless other ones. I just wanted to ask, who or what is your inspiration for this?
Well, there's many people. My mom was the start of it all, and she even still was. She moved in with me when in 2000 and lived to 2012. She was very active and that type of thing. I got her active in the things that I was involved with, and it really helped. So I would say number one was my mom. And then another person in town, and we're continued to be friends, was Nancy Cook. She was, her first husband was having health problems and passed away, and my husband was sick also. And so at that time, we were helping each other, and we've stayed friends, and we kind of say to each other, "You gotta say no," but both of us can't say that word to people and to help people. So that would be another person. In 2010, I joined the Westford Rotary Club, and I'm still a member. I'm chair of the community service program and help out in other ways. But that's really still my extended family.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges you've faced along the way?
In my life, well, like I said, when we first moved here, when we were in, one thing that made it a little easier is Don's family, his brother and sister, lived in Massachusetts, so we did have some additional family, and we had invested in a home in South Dennis in summers, and it was just a summer home type of thing. Don wanted to get me out of the smog and the commotions and all the people and everything at least part of the year, and he loved the Cape. We would come here in July, and then and stay at the house and do things, and then Don would come in August for his vacation, and then we would go back in September. And we did that for about 2 or 3 years after we bought the place. And then when we had some home discussions and that type of thing, and we actually just he gave up his job. We sold our house. We had 2 kids, and we just moved back east. We flew, but my Don left the Westchester area. That's where we lived, and he drove. And I thought it was going to take him like 4 days or something, and he would take rest stops, and he got to Cape Cod in 3.5 days. And that's how it all began.
What is something about you that most people may not know?
If I can go back just a second, I forgot you were talking your biggest challenges. I think the biggest challenge, and we did it as a family, and especially we found out that Don had MS after we were living here for about 4 years, about 4 years. And he was actually in a wheelchair for a while, and then it got a little better, and then we found out that he had pancreatic cancer, and back then they did not have the medicines or any of the treatments that they have today. And so he only lived 5 months after the diagnosis. And so I think the biggest, was I became a widow with 2 children and that type of thing. And we just did it as a family and got through it. And I had to take a full-time job, and that's why I was working part-time at Rodenbush at that time, and then I went full-time. And then you asked me about things. I can tell you 3 things, but the first one you're going to kind of laugh. As I told you, Don and I met in California with mutual friends, and our first date together. They had tried to get us together for many times, but he was working on the lunar project. He was going to school for his master's, and then he was also on ski patrol and search and rescue. And I was working, going to college, teaching college at Long Beach City College, and had other things going on too. So finally, on January 6, 1969, they said, we're going on a double date, all four of us, type of thing. And this is where people aren't going to believe. Our blind date was the Playboy Club in Hollywood, California. And
wow.
It's nothing like you think it is. It was a lot of fun. The people were fun and everything. And I actually have my pink little wallet still, type of thing. Lots of memories. The second one is in high school. I think it was around 1959 or 1960. I was a candy stropper at Long Beach Memorial Hospital, and I did a combination to learn more about medicine. Also, I was part of, like I said, the Red Cross and the nursing club at health club at Polytechnic. So on one of my times, a lot of times we worked in the admitting room. And so this one day I went in, and I was taking this lady up to labor. She was in labor, and I think we had plenty of time. We got her into the elevator, and all of a sudden, in the elevator, she has the baby, and I had to catch it in my candy striping apron. And so we got up to the third floor where delivery was, and I had to hold the baby in my apron and push the elevator button, and I screamed, "Come, she had the baby." So that's one thing I am going to remember, type of thing. And then the other one, between middle school and high school, like I said, I went to Long Beach Poly and the middle school. And there were two friends at that time, were just friends and that type of thing. Well, they became famous. And the first one is Billie Jean King, who is part of, won many trophies and that type of thing. And in high school, my claim to fame, and I know she let me do it, was I beat her at a tennis game once, type of thing. The other person was a young man that I knew from middle school through high school. And he also, when we were in high school, he taught ballroom dancing at one of the places in town that was for teenagers to learn how to dance and that type of thing. And after he graduated and everything, his name was Bobby Burgess, and he was a Mouseketeer, and also he was part of the Lawrence Welk Show for many, many years. So I feel like, at least you never know who you're going to meet in your life, type of thing. So those are really some of the people that I got to know.
And here in Westford, have there been any favorite moments or stories that have particularly stuck with you and inspired you to give back?
That's hard. I had to really think about that one because I've been, like you say, I've been involved with a lot of things, and everything is special to me, even the small things or that type of thing. Mm-hmm. But I think my 27 years plus at Rodenbush Community Center was a highlight of my career, and the people that I met, the wonderful staff, not only in the main building, but the other two buildings, also type of thing. At the beginning, there was a group in town that's called the Memorial Fund Group, and we would help take care of all the memorials in Westford, especially if they needed new plaques or they needed any work on or that type of thing. We raised money and did that. Well, on 9/11, a terrible tragedy and everything, we decided that the 9/11 group was going to try to do something special because we had lost two people from Westford on the two planes. And so I said, well, what if I write a letter to New York and see if there's a way we can get a piece of the beam or some rocks or, something that we could make a special out of it. And time went by a little bit, and then all of a sudden I got a letter in the mail. It wasn't an email. I got a letter in the mail, and they said that they were going to give us part of a beam. And I was so nervous. I had to go into Boston to Logan Airport and pick it up. I was so nervous that something was going to happen to that piece of life that I was keeping to bring back and everything. So from that, we built the memorial, and David Christiana is the artist who did it and everything, and it's meant something special to all of us. And from that, the memorial committee was now Westford Remembers, and we try to do other things for other people in town type of thing. And what's nice is all the people that were on the 9/11 committee, they gave us a brand new penny, and we wrote our initials on the penny, and it's cemented into the base of
wow.
So when you go by, just think a penny is there, and I know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So, but it's hard to say, some of the other stories. All the people that I have helped or worked with or that type of thing have left a feeling of love and helpful and that type of thing in my heart. So it's hard to, give out, to say, one story type of thing. And then, it's just also celebrating Dawn and that type of thing. So there's different ways that I have celebrated by supporting different groups because he did that too in his life.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
About the giving?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I've done it all my life, and I want people to know when they, you don't have to give just money, because a lot of times you can't afford it. There were times that I couldn't do it, but I could give my time, or I could give my ideas or work with groups, that type of thing. Yeah. So I think it's important that, that you do that. I did, when I was part of Rodenbush, I was asked to be part of the celebratory group at the Greater Lowell Community Foundation. Once a year, they put on a celebration of nonprofits, and they asked me to represent Westford on their at this group. And then later on, after I'd done that for several years, they asked me to be on their board. So I'm a board member of the Westford Community Foundation, and I represent Westford. So I try to watch out for things for Westford, or is there groups in Lowell that we can help, or vice versa, they can help us, and that type of thing. And then I have two other foundations. I started with 3 foundations that I've started. The first one is the Don Mason Memorial Foundation, and then the Greater Lowell Community Foundation said, Patti, why don't you put your name on it too? I said, what, do you think I'm going to die? And they said, no, because we think your name should be on it. So we changed it to the Don and Patti Mason Foundation. I also have the Westford Fund, which was money that was actually raised, a combination of funds that myself and my sons and other people in Westford started a number of years ago. And I used that money to help with different organizations, Historical Society, Cameron, Road and Bush, just a number of people, Westford Cat, we've helped. They're not big bucks, but every little bit, helps type of thing. And the third one is the Westford Family Fun Fest Fund. And that was started this will be our 15th year. We're going to be doing the Festival of Trees in December and at the Westford Regency. And that all started from that type of thing.
Yeah.
And we did some activities other than just the festival. We used to do things at Kimball's. They would have a nonprofit day or a Girl Scout day, and I would help oversee see those.
Yeah.
So I think it's just important to give back.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. And looking back on everything, if you could give your younger self advice, or even just advice in general for anyone listening, what would it be?
That was a good question. I had to think. I think in some ways, not completely, I have to learn how to say no a little bit, okay, type of thing. It's very hard, and sometimes now people will say, Patty, you've always helped us with this. Instead of saying I'll give a large portion of my time, I'll try to give them a little portion and maybe ideas how they can do it. So I have to learn to say no. And then enjoy. I think it's important to learn to enjoy every day at the most, good or bad. You can have bad days. I have bad days, but enjoy every, and and then be able to, give back and think about the good, because there's a lot of good and a lot of good people in Westford and in the world. And then enjoy your family. I think it's just important to enjoy your family, because you never know what can happen. Just like I lost my husband, we hadn't planned that type of thing. So that's about it, unless you have some questions.
Finally, what legacy do you hope to leave on the Westford community and the wider community around you?
Okay. I guess it's kind of like what I thought on, giving back and that type of thing. I just hope, I want it to be positive. I want it to be caring, that I cared about all of them and everything, every project, especially Westford Rotary and some of the other groups I was involved with, and Westford Remembers, that you can give back. And it doesn't always have to be, money. It can be just support. Surprising how many times just calling somebody or saying, I'm thinking about you, or that type of thing. Yeah. But if we can get extra funds, I get grant alerts every week from different organizations and groups, and if I see something that maybe another group, Westford Cat or the museum or the schools, I send it to them. If they can use it, they can use it, or that type of thing. One of the other things that I think is, get involved. It can be a small amount of time or a big amount of time. There's many people in town that give so much time and help the town and actually save the town money by doing this, because in some towns, they get paid for what we do as volunteers. And I just think that, it's important, like I said, to give back.
Definitely, yeah.
And same way with young people. And I see it at the academy. I mean, the amount that the kids give. An example is this last spring in June, Westford Rotary had a food preparation table day that we took all dried food and packaged it into meals and that type of thing. And we had over 80 young people and adults, actually from age 2 and I'll explain that, to 82. And we had 80-some people come and package, and we put together 28,000 meals that we were able to give out here in Westford, in surrounding towns, the food bank, actually a shelter in Methuen, also that the Rotary sponsors. So we had a number of people from Westford Academy and the middle school and the Girl Scouts. The football team came and helped and that type of thing. And also some people, Rotary helped sponsor the new Westford Police Department community team. And so we, even a couple of the officers came that day and helped out. So I just think, it can just be an hour someplace. It doesn't have to be all the time.
Thank you so much for your time. It was really interesting to listen to your stories and everything.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and it'll be fun on Friday night.
I hope you'll all join us at the Westford Museum on August 30th at 7:30 p.m. for the Wild Women of Westford event, where we will celebrate Mrs. Mason and the lives of 5 other influential women from Westford's past. See you there!